Now we are going to present our BTP project of stock market prediction using LSTM algorithm. Myself, Dipesh Bijarnia. So let's discuss what is stock market. Stock market is a place where people buy or sell shares of publicly listed companies. Stock markets ups and downs affect the profit of stakeholders. In other case, if market going down with available stock prices, then stakeholders have to face losses. Buyers buy stocks with low prices and sell stocks at high prices and try to get huge profits. Similarly, sellers sell their products at high prices for profit purpose. Stock price prediction. SPP is the process of predicting future price of stock on the basis of past data. Prediction decrease the risk level to investors and increase the confidence level for investment. If they predicted goals before reach, then they can avoid loss of money. On the basis of historical data trends, we guess future trend that is called SPP. Quantitative analysis. Predicting how the stock market will perform is one of the most difficult things to do. There are so many factors involved in the prediction: physical factors versus psychological factors, rational and irrational behavior, etc. All these aspects combine to make share price volatile and very difficult to predict with a high degree of accuracy. Machine learning techniques have the potential to unearth patterns and insights we didn't see before, and these can be used to make accurate predictions. We will work with historical data about the stock prices of publicly listed companies to predict the future of price of stock. Variables in dataset. So first variable open. It is the price at which financial security opens in the market when trading begins. It may or may not be different from the previous day closing price. Close. The closing price is the raw price or cash value of the last transacted price in a security before the market officially closes for normal trading. High. It is the highest price at which stock is traded during a period. Low. It is the lowest price at which stock is traded during the period. Volume. Volume is the total number of shares traded in a security over a period. Every time buyers and sellers exchange shares, the amount get added to period's total volume. Studying volume patterns are an essential aspect of technical analysis because it can show the significance of stock's price movement.
Hi
So,
everyone, I'm Naman Modi and I'll be telling what is RNN. So recurrent neural network are the first of its kind state of art algorithm that can remember, memorize previous inputs in memory with a huge set of sequential data is given to it. So how does RNN basically works? Uh, RNN works like first words are get transformed into machine readable vectors that the RNN process the sequence of vectors one by one. While processing, it passes the hidden state to the next step of sequence. The hidden state acts as neural network memory. It holds information on previous data the network has seen before. First, the input and previous states are combined to form a vector. That vector now has information on the current input and previous input. The vector go through the 10th activation, and the output is now is the new hidden state or the memory of the network. So there is a limitation in RNN. RNN suffer from a short-term memory. If sequence given for training in RNN is long, then it is very hard to carry earlier information if the sequence of data is too long. So if we are trying to process a data of previous price for stock to do predictions, RNN may leave out important information from the beginning. During backpropagation, recurrent RNN suffer from vanishing gradient problem. Gradients are values used to update a neural network weights. The vanishing gradient problem is when gradient shrink as it backpropagates through time. If a gradient value become extremely small and it doesn't contribute too much learning. So to overcome this problem of RNN, we have used LSTM in our project. LSTM is a special type of RNN network, uh, but in this we have added some gates which help to carry forward the important information for our purpose. For this purpose, we have introduced a gate in RNN network. These gate can learn which data in sequence is important to keep or throw away. By doing that, it can pass relevant information from long chain sequence to make predictions. Almost all the states of the art result based on RNN are achieved with LSTM networks. How does LSTM works? An LSTM has a similar control flow as recurrent neural network. It processes data processing on information as it propagates forward. The difference are operations with LSTM cells. And LSTM basically consists of two updates, that is 10H activation update. The 10H activation is used to help regulate the flow flowing through the network. The 10H function squeezes value to always be between -1 and 1. When vectors are flowing through neural network, it undergoes many transformation due to various math operation. So to avoid this kind of misconfusion, we use standard function which sequences which squeezes our vectors between -1 to 1. And then come Sigmund gate. The Sigmund gate helps to uh, is helpful in for forget gate, which memorizes the important data collection for our future use. The Sigmund gate is similar to 10H activation. Instead of squishing values between -1 to 1, it squishes values between 0 to 1. And that is helpful to update or forgot the data because of any numbering getting multiplied to 0. Zero causing values causing near zero disappears to be forgotten, and any number multiplied by 1 is the same value. Thereafter value stays and kept same. So by this way we can help with the Sigmund function and 10H function, we can overcome the disadvantage of RNN network.
Okay, myself Nishchay Vasist, and I'm going to explain how we are importing data for this project. So first of all, we are taking these 20 companies that are listed under NSE Top 50, and we'll be using this in our project. Now, how we are getting our data in Python. So the traditional way of importing the data would be to download the stock data from sites like Yahoo Finance or Google Finance in .csv format and then import it into Python. But this approach limits us to use the data that we downloaded initially for all the works that we are going to do in future, which is not very ideal in case of stock markets due to their volatile nature. Therefore, our data would become outdated pretty quickly as the stock market changes pretty frequently. So one way around this would be to download new data each time we run our code. And as you can imagine, that would become very tedious very quickly because we will need to do this for each stock in our data set, and we will need to do it each time we run our code. Therefore, the approach we came up with was to use Yahoo Finance's API to read the data directly into a pandas data frame using pandas data reader library, as you can as you can see here. This ensures that we have the latest up-to-date data each time we run our code without any manual work. So how are we implementing this is we have made a function called get data, which takes a parameter called stock name, which as the name implies is the name of stocks, and the years, which is the number of previous years that we want the data from. So to do that, we have a end and a start variable. The end is the current time, and the start is current time minus the number of years. For example, we have taken years to be 10, so we will be pulling data from last 10 years. And then this function returns a pandas data frame uh, containing all the stock data. Uh, so what we have done is we have created a list of companies which has names of all the stocks in our data set, and then we loop through this list and pull data for each of these companies. So this is after we have imported the data, we have plotted it using matplotlib library, and this is what our data looks like. We have created a grid so that we can fit all the data in one figure.
so this so after we have splitted the data, we will after we have after we got the data set, we're gonna make a train data set and test data set. So train data set is used to fit the machine learning model, and test data set is used to evaluate the training machine learning model. So we will see here what we are doing. We are doing a 80-20 split in our in our data set, which means 80% of the data would be used for training and rest 20% would be used for testing purpose. So this graph shows the red line shows the test set, whereas the blue line shows the training set. So scaling data, so feature scaling is a technique. Feature scaling is a technique to standardize the independent features present in the data in a fixed range. So, it is performed during the data pre-processing to handle highly varying magnitudes or value or units, I would say. If feature scaling is not done, then machine learning algorithm tends to weigh greater values higher and consider smaller values as the lower values, regardless of the unit of the values. Also, scaling can improve runtime on some machine learning algorithms. Here we are using a scaling technique called min-max normalization, which rescales a feature or observation value with distribution value between 0 and 1.
Now that we have split our test and training dataset and we have scaled the dataset, we will need to train our model. The model we are using, as described by Naman, is LSTM model. So this is how we have implemented it in Python. We are using directly using Keras library sequential model, and we are applying 4 LSTM layers to implement our model. The Keras library uses TensorFlow backend. Uh, in code, what we are doing is first we are looping through all the companies in our data set, and for each company we are creating a training set so that we can train our LSTM network. Since LSTM requires to store long-term memory state, we need to create a data structure with 60 timestamps and one output. So for each element of training set, we have 60 previous training set elements, which means that for each day we have data from past previous 60 days. So and as inputs, and then the price of the stock on that particular day as the output. So this is the loop that accomplishes that. And then what we do after we create that data structure, we export it as numpy array so that we can use it in the Keras sequential model, and we reshape it. Then we reshape the numpy array in order for efficient modeling. After we have our training set in order, we import the Keras sequential model, as you can see here, and then we add LSTM layers to it. We are adding LSTM layers with 50 units. These were the parameters which we came upon after playing around with these parameters for a little bit, and uh, and to prevent overfitting in our model, we are using a dropout regularization technique. What dropout does is it randomly selects some neurons, and it ignores their activation. So the number of neurons that are we can say ignored is determined by this value here. Here 0.2 represents that 20% of the neurons will be ignored in each iteration. Similarly, we are adding four more layers, LSTM layers to our sequential model, and then we are adding one output layer. After we have our regressor, we are going to compile it, and the cost function we are using is mean squared error. Now that our model is ready, we can fit our training data to the model. Uh, we, uh, this is what we are doing here, and epochs and batch size are two hyperparameters. We reached upon these values after experimentation, and these were the values which were giving the highest accuracy. So this code takes around 20 to 30 minutes to run. After that, that our model has learned, we can say, our data set. So now we can prepare for testing. So in order to test, in order to test our model, we need our testing set to be the same format as our training set. So we are repeating the same exact process that we did for X train here for X test, and after that we will call the predict method with test data set, and then we'll get the predictions. But since our training set was scaled, the predictions will also be scaled, so we'll need to inverse transform them, and this is what is we are accomplishing here. So now that we have our predictions, we have made our predictions and we have scaled them back. We can plot them using Matplotlib. These are what the plots look like. So here the uh, red line represents the actual stock price, and the blue line represents our predicted values. These plots give us a visual understanding of how accurate our model is. But in order to quantify the accuracy, we'll need to calculate errors. That's what Naman is going to explain.
So we have used root mean square evaluation for representing our errors. So root mean square represents the square root of quadratic means of difference between predicted value and observed value. To compare the errors across stock, so we will convert them to the percentage, because every stock has a different sort of price. For example, a single stock can cost 50 rupees to 5,000 rupees. So we will be converting the error into percentage, and we will also calculate the overall error from the average error. So in code, we are doing this def RMSE function is used to calculate the root mean square error of our predicted values. And then we are converting our predicted values into uh, percentage error. And then we are finding out our overall error. And these are the accuracies we got. As we can see, we have used our 20 stocks, and we have got our highest accuracy in the stock Wipro.ns, that is 2.79, and our accuracy was minimum for Tata Steel.ns, that is 9.79, and our overall error was 5.48%, average root mean square error for our 20 stocks.
Uh, so.
And
Uh, So, although these errors seem pretty good, but we were still able to find some shortcomings in our model that we are hoping to improve in future. So, one shortcoming that we observed was the predictions we are making are on day-to-day basis. But if we increase the duration of predictions, like we make predictions for longer period of times, the accuracy drops significantly. So right now, we are only using historical prices to make the estimates about future prices. But our future works but in future we would like to incorporate some additional techniques such as news mining and social media analysis, so we can get some new parameters to improve the accuracy of our model. Thank you.